Hey guys, my name's Colin and this is my review of the North Face Vectiv Enduris after 100 kilometers. So let's get right into it and start things off with the fit. So these run true to size. I'm a 10.5 in all my running sneakers. This is a 10.5 and it fits perfect. The general fit right out of the box is a little bit weird. It took about 4 runs to really get the fit dialed in to where it felt stable and comfortable for me. The first few runs, the fit up around the ankle felt really sloppy and loose. It kind of was a struggle to figure out how to get these to fit right at first because the first couple runs my ankle felt so loose and sloppy in this shoe. I tried to tie up the laces up around the top of my foot tighter, but then it was so tight it was pinching off the tendons in my foot over here. But once the sneaker started to break in and I was able to tie my sneaker tighter up here without it feeling like it was suffocating my foot, the fit really got dialed in. So I wouldn't give up on this shoe if you immediately step in and feel like it's a sloppy fit up top. Give it a few runs and customize the fit to your liking and it starts to feel really nice. Next up is the traction. So the traction on the Vectiv Enduris was really good. The rubber is really tacky and sticky. I took these on all kinds of terrain through heavy mud, big puddles, wet, rocky roots, and they handled everything pretty good. The lug depth is only 3.5 millimeters deep, as you can see here, so they weren't like sticking like crazy through some of the heavier mud. I think the Vectiv line from North Face is supposed to feel a little bit faster, so they didn't make these lugs super deep. Aside from the really muddy spots that these didn't perform that well in, every other situation I brought these in, I found they performed really nicely. Next up is the cushion. So the cushion setup is made up of a dual density foam as well as this Vectiv sole unit technology, and there's also a TPU plate all the way through here. So this is the highest stack of cushion in the Vectiv lineup. It's 33 mils in the forefoot and 38 in the heel. So you're getting a lot of stack in the shoe. It's highly cushioned and you can definitely feel the softness when you first step in. And although there's a lot of stack here, I found from about the midfoot to the forefoot, once you break this sneaker in, it still maintains a decent amount of trail feel in the forefoot. You're very well protected, but you can still feel some of the rocks and roots you're running over. It's not like some of the other Max Cush shoes where you can barely feel anything you're running over. The forefoot area still allows you to feel some of the trail, which is really nice. So the biggest thing you're gonna notice when you first step into this shoe is the insane rocker technology they put into the Vectiv Endurance. I always thought the Hokas that I've ran in have some crazy rockers in them, but this one is next level. You step in and you immediately feel a bit like you're rocking back and forth. The initial feeling is kind of weird and it takes a few runs to break in the midsole and make that rocker feel a little more natural, but give it some time and break the shoe in and then that rocker really starts to feel like it's propelling you forward and it becomes a lot more comfortable than your initial step in feeling of insane back and forth. So that TPU plate and the big stack of foam does give you a lot of protection on the trails. Like I said, you do get a little bit more of a ground feel in the forefoot, but back here in the heel, you really don't feel anything because of all the protection and stack height. However, with that big stack in the heel, there was times where I felt a little unstable laterally. I don't know if it's just the way the sneaker is built or if it's the big stack of foam, but there's times where I felt a little tippy one way or the other. I mostly run midfoot to forefoot anyway, so there was only a few times where I felt that instability in the heel, but I think it's just something to be aware of. Next up is the upper. So the upper is made basically mostly of some perforated mesh here in the midfoot and forefoot with some toe protection here, then some synthetic overlays here in around the ankle and heel. There is a pull tab. The tongue is not attached inside here. It does end up kind of just falling over to the side, but because I had the laces tied all the way up, I never found that was much of an issue. I did get these fully submerged in water. They're not the best draining shoe, but I didn't find it a big issue once I started running and getting the water out. I also had to switch out the laces that were in here originally. I just couldn't get them to stay tied, so I just threw in some old laces I had laying around, and now I have no issues at all. And next up is the weight. So these weigh in around 11 ounces for a men's size 10. I didn't find them to feel very heavy on foot. With that rocker, these sneakers feel like a snappy sneaker, so you're not really feeling like you're very weighed down. It's also a 6mm drop, so a 38 in the heel and a 32 in the forefoot. So the final verdict on the North Face Vectiv Endurance is I love these. It took a while to get the fit dialed in, but when you figure out the fit of this sneaker, you can really fly in these things just because of that rocker technology. At least it makes me feel like I'm going fast, but these are really fun to run in. Just give it some time to break in, especially with that really intense rocker and the lacing issue. Just gotta figure that out for your foot, and once you do, these things are really, really cool and comfortable and cushioned to run in. And just be aware of a little bit of heel instability with that high stack in the heel. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching my review on the North Face Vectiv Enduris. If you have any more questions about this sneaker, just let me know in the comments. I try to respond to all the comments that I get. Just let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I'll leave you with some footage of the Vectiv Enduris in action.